Want to do the pledge first?
Oh, well, you're right. Excuse
You're
me.
just trying to get out of it.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain seated, standing, excuse me. Almighty Father, please, as we continue to work on behalf of the citizens of Goodyear, please provide us wisdom to make the wise decisions. Also, I ask that you look over all those men and women in uniform that are serving our country proudly, keep them out of harm's way, and provide a safe route for all here tonight on their way home. In thy name, amen.
Amen.
City Clerk, can we get a roll call vote?
Yes. Councilmember Sousa,
Aye. Here.
Councilmember Lartano, Councilmember Osborne,
Here.
Councilmember Cavalier,
Here.
Vice Mayor Pizzillo,
Here.
all are present.
Do we have any expenditures to approve or ratify?
No, we don't.
Okay. Next, we go to communications from the floor. We've got a presentation. John Fishback?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Sandra Healy will make a presentation of some money to the Goodyear Homeless Youth Connection that we raised recently. Sandra?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I'm very happy to be here in front of you tonight as a representative of the City of Goodyear Rewards, Recognition, and Events Committee. Our committee recently organized a sale for drawing tickets and raised $1,000. One of our committee members, who is also in our engineering department, Tammy Valdez-Paz, was inspired by the work that Elizabeth Reithout and Larry Cerberich have been doing with the homeless youth in the City of Goodyear, and they decided as a committee that we would like to give the proceeds of our drawing to the Goodyear Homeless Youth Connection. We have a check to present you with for $1,000, and I just want to read a little bit here. You guys say, as I looked over some materials, that the mission of the Homeless Youth Connection is simple: to feed, clothe, provide basic needs, and find safe locations for homeless children. That sounds like a pretty tall order to me, and we are very grateful to you for filling that need. The City of Goodyear is pleased to present you with this check for $1,000 as a token of our gratitude for your contribution to our community. Thank you very much. Would you guys like to say anything?
Well, first of all, it wasn't simple. But I was told about 10 months ago when we first started the Homeless Youth Connection that the biggest thing is in the West Valley being challenged
say to me, you're not even my family, you're not even related to me, why would you help me? So I say to them, I can't explain why people who know you are supposed to take care of you made the decisions that they did. But you need to know that there are people all around you who are great people, who are willing to be there for you. And you are not alone. And you can ask for help and you will help. And it is in your purpose, right?
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to mention that there was no tax money involved in this. This was 100% from the employees' own pockets.
Well, tip of the hat. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Elizabeth. Next, we have an update on the Faith Community Roundtable. Was it Parrish?
Good evening, Mayor and Council, Parish Spies, City of Goodyear, and I'm joined today by Pastor Jeff Gallen from the Christ Evangelical Lutheran Church, located just a couple blocks away on Litchfield Road. We just wanted to share with you an update on the success of our partnership that we created with Faith Community of Goodyear. Our goal is really just to create community dialogue, and the goal of the group is to build a resource network that brings together the strength of the faith community, educate and inform on relevant community issues, and collaborate on projects and programs.
Excuse me, Parrish, could you turn the microphone on, please?
He's not a preacher, so.
Okay, is it on now?
No.
No.
Should be on now.
The little button on the side?
Yeah, it did.
Here, come get this one.
Sorry about it.
Okay. The Faith Community Roundtable has been working together for the past year, and as I mentioned, some of the goals we have is just to really build a resource network to educate and inform the community on relevant issues and collaborate on projects and programs that increase community value. Now, in the past year, when it comes to the education part of our meetings, we've had Partnership for Drug-Free America, CTCA Outreach Project came to visit with us, Luke Air Force Base, and recently we even had our Chief Building Inspector, Ed Kulik, come out and talk about the city's permit and inspection process. Some of the outcomes that we've developed in partnership also with the police department, as we created a speakers bureau that will be available to the faith community to come out and speak on relevant public safety topics, prevention topics, and as well as we recently organized a domestic violence forum. So the city acts as a facilitator, and we have about 12 to 15 faith groups within the city that we have identified, and we usually have between 6 and 12 active members each month. So I'd like to turn it over to Pastor Jeff Gallen just to give his first-person experience with the partnership.
Mayor, Council, he's taking a risk by letting a pastor stand up, but I know I'm limited to just a couple of minutes. First of all, the Community Roundtable is a wonderful opportunity for Goodyear, for not just the faith community, but for all the community. In difficult times when we're not full of and flush with money and not thinking about what's going on, we now have a time where people are hurting, tremendously hurting, out of jobs, unemployed, without homes, etc. This dialogue, this roundtable, gives us, the faith community, an opportunity to be at the table and at least elicit our responses and give them to you and listen to the council and what's going on with the city. So there is a real sense of ownership with that, and look forward to continued working in the partnership with the city, with the faith community to accomplish those areas that I think are more suited for faith communities, which is really the underbelly, the hurting, the social arena for services to working poor in particular. And it's been an excellent year, and looking forward to further years together. Just like the council that gets along so well together, since you have no differences. Same within the faith community. We are one in the faith community. We really don't do things any different, right? Well, it will take time. The best thing I can say about the first year, it is begun. Collaboration takes time, but I guarantee you, if we want to continue to be an all-American city, not only does the faith community need to collaborate, the city needs to collaborate. All our voices need to be heard so that we can, in total, try to do the best that we can for the city called Goodyear and the people who call it home. Thank you for your time, and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, God's blessings on you in this season of giving and love. Thank you.
No, thank you. Next up is Shop with a Cop. Is it Mark Brown's going to go?
Mr. Mayor, you have Phil Need.
Phil Need. Oh, sorry. Phil Need. Sabrina.
Good evening, Vice Mayor Pizzillo, council members, and guests. This year, the 2010 Goodyear Felony Program will be helping 28 local families, 27 of these Goodyear families and 1 from Litchfield Park. In recent years, our program has included families from the surrounding areas of Avondale, Litchfield Park, sometimes even Tolleson and Buckeye. Earlier this year, the City of Avondale asked about our criteria and our selection process, and since then, they've actually created a program to mirror ours. Buckeye has also jumped on board with their own program this year as well. In addition to these local families, all of the 22 students and 7 preschoolers in the Mobile Elementary School will receive holiday gifts from our program. Every year, the Pebble Creek Ladies 9 Golf Group holds an annual fundraiser to purchase all of the gifts for these students. The 7 preschool children will receive gifts donated by the Primrose School of Palm Valley. Delivery for these gifts will be tomorrow, December 14th, when a group of us will caravan to Mobile with Santa in exchange for a wonderful holiday player program and a hot school lunch. 11 youth and 1 family from the local nonprofit Homeless Youth Connection will also receive assistance from the Felony program this year, and we look forward to working with them again next year. The Felony program will wrap up this week with our 2-day wrapping extravaganza, Thursday and Friday, here in our Justice facility, where all gifts bought and donated will be wrapped by employees and volunteers. Large caravans of city employees, Goodyear Fire, and community representatives will deliver these gifts Saturday, December 18th. I have to say that with these times the way that they are in the economy, being rough for everyone right now, it amazes me to see the generosity shown by city employees, community members, and local businesses. Walmart on Astoria Parkway has been a huge instrumental piece of this puzzle. Every year, they not only give a monetary donation, but designated shopping lanes, trees for all of the families, and putting together food boxes every year for about 30 families. Local businesses have taken their lead, and participation seems to grow every year. It seems at times the task is managing the donation and the help rather than the families themselves. This, however, is a nice problem to have. I thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Sabrina. Now we have Shop with a Cop. Mark?
Good evening, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Just happy to report that last Saturday morning at 7 a.m. in this very room, we met with a lot of our police officers, some of our police volunteers, some of our Explorer officers with 39 young people, and took them shopping to Walmart and to Target. And believe me, if you've not seen that occur, it's quite an experience. We were met with a breakfast provided by and donated by our local Chick-fil-A restaurant. They've been a great partner for us over the years. And what we were able to accomplish with the help of the Pebble Creek Fall Home Tours, they raised $8,600 for us in order to do this. And they have over the years become the main sponsor and really the only sponsor monetarily for this program. Wally Campbell, who is the chair of that committee, has been with us since the start, along with a lot of her other folks, and they come here every year, and it's just great to see them again. But to raise that kind of money in these tough economic times really says a lot, that they sold all of their tickets this year for those, and was just really overwhelming for what we were doing. So we were able to give each child a $200 gift card in which they could spend at the stores. And some were very good shoppers, some not so good shoppers. But luckily we had several people helping our police officers who are not very good shoppers either. We had 9 cheerleaders from Willow Canyon High School come help us out. Like I say, some of our volunteers, some of the families of the officers were here to help, and again, our explorers and just everybody who really made this event really a lot of fun for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next, we got a presentation from Karen Keith, La Creme Custom Events. Proceeds from the 4th Annual Pebble Creek Auto Fest to charity beneficiaries.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Karen Keith with La Creme Custom Events, and I'm very happy to be here before you this evening on behalf of the Pebble Creek Car Club, represented here by its president, Charlie Miller. The reason we wanted to use this venue as an opportunity to make this presentation is because it was all about Goodyear. The 4th Annual Pebble Creek Auto Fest was held at the Goodyear Ballpark for the 2nd time, and I think we're already booking next year's event as we speak. It's been the perfect venue. Mark Kimball was wonderful to deal with. The events, or the grounds crew was great. They've all been very, very accommodating. And it's the philanthropic efforts of the Pebble Creek Classic Car Club that really was the instrument to make this happen. As a result of their work and our work with producing the event, we were able to donate a significant amount of money to charity from the proceeds of the event. Not only did we raise money, but we raised over 5,000 pounds of food for the Agua Fria Food Bank. Over 2.5 tons came in from that. It was a free event that was free to attend to all attendees with the donation of 2 cans of food, and that amounted to an entire truckload full of food for the food bank. In addition to that, we have the beneficiaries of the New Life Center here in Goodyear, as well as the YMCA Teen Action Council, also in Goodyear. The Teen Action Council is a group that Councilmember Joanne Osborne is intimately familiar with. Another Goodyear tie there. The Teen Action Council was thrust into a leadership role several years ago, and it was the work of a group of Leadership West students, including myself, your very own Kim Benden, and former Jim Nichols, who helped put together a program to teach them the leadership skills that they need to serve in that role. So another Goodyear tie. And 5 years later, we're happy to say that thanks to Councilmember Joanne Osborne, that group is still continuing today. So we're happy to donate $2,500 tonight, split between the New Life Center and the Teen Action Council on behalf of the Pebble Creek Car Club. And we'll bring our friends up who are all here. I think we've got a number of kids from the YMCA. We have Kim Phil with the New Life Center. You do that.
All right.
Come on, guys. Come on up.
We can do it all together.
Here, all right.
Come on in.
You
As long as somebody holds it.
Yeah, I'll hold this one.
Okay. Do we have everybody
You want to
here?
get the other check?
Let me have the other check.
You guys are going to have to get way more closer.
You know what?
Sides
Get
here.
closer together.
Yeah, this is the other side.
Hey, Peaches.
And I've got your real check, so.
Yeah, real check.
Can I say something really quick?
Go ahead.
I really, collaboration, everything that we've discussed, that every presenter that's come up, that's about what our city is, collaboration. And I'm so thankful and happy, you said it best, Karen, with the Pebble Creek Car Club. It was about Goodyear, it was about collaboration, it was about helping teens, it was about helping domestic violence victims. It was about helping food for the hungry, and it was a great venue by the car club. People came to see those great cars, and the teens went out and sold raffle tickets, and I'm thankful for them. And I just wanted to take a brief second. Mr. Solomon, please stand up. This is Jim Solomon. He is the facility director at the Y. He's my right-hand man for the Teen Action Council, and my junior leader, who actually was at the very beginning 6 years ago, was with me. He is now stationed at Luke Air Force Base. Airman Spencer Nelson, please stand up. He is a great part of my and he's a good dozen of my kids. So I get to be another Elizabeth mom, and I love it. Thanks for everybody coming tonight. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joanne. At this time, the citizens' comments, appearance from the floor, limited to 3 minutes. Anything that's not on the that's not an agenda item. Do we have any cards?
No, I don't.
Okay. Next up, consent agenda. Can you read title only?
Item A, adopt ordinance 10-1229, providing for an amendment to the Estrella Commons preliminary planned area development pad to allow a 2-year time extension of the final pad filing deadline to October 23, 2012, for the 30-acre subject site generally located at the southeast corner of Interstate 10 and Estrella Parkway, adopting supplementary zoning map number 10-005 to provide for the pad zoning amendment, providing separability, and providing for an effective date. Item B, appoint Councilmember Joanne Osborne to the Greater Phoenix Economic Council Board of Directors to represent the City of Goodyear.
Are there any cards from the audience that want to speak on any or remove? No? Anybody on council want to remove any item or questions on any items on the consent? No?
Mr. Vice Mayor, I move that we approve consent items as written, as stated.
Motion, get a second? Second. Motion from Councilmember Cavalier, second from Councilmember Sousa. Is it roll call?
Councilmember Cavalier?
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Sousa?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pizzillo?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Next up to the business section, we're going to receive the audit from Henry and Horn, and we have a presentation. Is it going to be you, Larry?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Good evening, Vice Mayor and City Council. Tonight it is my pleasure to present to you the comprehensive annual financial report for the City of Goodyear for the fiscal year that just ended June 30th of 2010. This report, for those of you that can't see, is about 190 pages long of sheer numbers and exciting information. Represents a culmination of hundreds of hours of work, both by our staff and by the audit firm of Henry and Horn, who compiled this, but primarily did an audit on our financial statements. I want to recognize the leader from our staff, Teresa Sims, the controller, and Marilyn Mays, the manager from Henry and Horn, who led from that staff. Also want to recognize in this process the Goodyear Audit Committee. City of Goodyear is very unique amongst cities in Arizona and around the country in that we have an audit committee currently consisting of Vice Mayor Pizzillo, Councilmember Osborne, City Manager Fishbach, that review this report in detail prior to it being submitted, also meet with the auditors prior to the audit and during this meeting to go over any specific concerns they have. While that's unique to government and it's where governments are evolving to, it's a very common scenario in the private sector for the business environment. What I would like to do at this point is ask Marilyn Mays to come up and to talk to you about the results of their findings on this audit. Marilyn?
Vice Mayor and members of the council, thank you for the opportunity to present our reports on the city's financial statements and on the federal programs. I'd like to commend your finance Department for obtaining the Government Finance Officers Association's Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for fiscal years 2008 and 2009, and which this CAFR will also be presented for them. The GFOA established that Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting program to encourage and assist state and local governments to go beyond the minimum requirements of generally accepted accounting principles to prepare that comprehensive annual financial report that evidence the spirit and transparency of full disclosure, and then to recognize the individual governments that succeed in achieving that goal. Tonight we are presenting the comprehensive annual financial report for fiscal year 2010, and we have issued 3 reports that are included in that CAFR. Our first report is an unqualified opinion on the financial statements, and as our report states, is that we conducted an audit in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America and the standards applicable to financial audits contained in government auditing standards. Those standards require that we plan and perform the audit to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are free of material misstatement. And in our opinion, the financial statements as presented here present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the City of Goodyear. Our second report is the report on internal control over financial reporting. In planning and performing our audit, we also considered the city's internal control over financial reporting as a basis for designing and our auditing procedure and for the purposes of expressing our opinion. Our consideration of internal control over financial reporting was limited and was not designed to identify all deficiencies in internal control over financial reporting that might be deficiencies, significant deficiencies, or material weaknesses. And we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control over financial reporting that we consider material weaknesses. We also, the city also received just under $2 million of federal funds, and in that also required a single audit. We issued our third opinion, and that report is on compliance with the requirements that could have a direct and material effect on each major program and on internal control over those major programs, those major federal programs. We planned and performed our audit to obtain reasonable assurance about whether noncompliance could have a direct and material effect on the federal programs, and in our opinion, the city complied in all material respects with the compliance requirements referred to above that could have a direct and material effect on the federal programs as of June 30th, 2010. The federal programs that we tested was the U.S. Department of Transportation. The other program was the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the last program was the Department of Homeland Security Assistance to the Firefighters Grant. We this is only Goodyear's second year to get a single audit. An entity must have at least 2 years of federal audits in order to be qualified as a low-risk auditee. So therefore, Goodyear did not qualify this year as a low-risk auditee, but will qualify for next year. We also issued a report on the annual expenditure limitation, and the city's expenditure limitation this year was over $262 million. For fiscal year 2010, the city was under that limitation by a little over $185 million. And that concludes what I have.
Stay up here if there's questions.
Okay.
I'll be brief with the rest of my comments rather than going through in depth. If you do have any questions or anyone in the public has questions, please feel free to contact the Finance Department. We'll be happy to go over them. It's obviously a very complex report. With that, I think we'll take any questions that any of you may have.
Well, before we go there, first, are there any comment cards, any comments from the public? No. Okay, with that, can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
So I get a motion from Councilmember Osborne and a second from Cavalier. With that, do we have any questions? Let's start down here at this end.
I just have a brief question. With the audit and the low risk and how you were presenting it, obviously in the news has been the surprise issue. Does this type of audit prevent us from that type of issue, I guess? I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Do you want it?
The answer to that question, at least for me, is that, you need to have good people and good personnel around you. You have a lot of controls in place that could eliminate some problems like that. It would all, to me, boil down to people and to staff. You've got a budget process that you go through, and those funds are described and talked about in that kind of process and proceedings. You've got a very highly trained staff that would catch those, and yes, the experience of an audit team would be able to ask the right questions and inquiries and everything to determine whether or not transfers whether you're in compliance with any of your spending or transfers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Sousa.
Thank you. Does this report have to be filed with the state?
Yes, this report is filed with the State Auditor General's office. It is due with the extension that we filed the automatic. It's due by the end of February, but it has already actually been filed.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Cavalier.
Yeah, to follow up with Councilman Sousa's statement, I notice in here that this is for the federal, for the City of Goodyear, City Council, within the entity, federal awarding agency and pass-through entities, and is not intended for any others. So why is the state, I didn't think the state was involved in this.
The paragraph that you're referring to, Councilman Cavalier, is only referring to the opinion of the auditors, that's what that opinion refers to. It's not referring to the entire audit book.
Okay. So it doesn't go to the federal unless they request it?
It is distributed to the federal government, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Osborne.
Well, I appreciate all the information that's in this book, and really there is a great deal of information. And after the beginning of the year, Larry, I would like to sit down and go over a few line items. But just for example, we were within the last month and a half discussing the roads and some of the issues that are going to be coming in front of us regarding the streets. And what's funny, in this book, I happened to come across a page that showed the last 5 years, and under Public Works, it showed that there had been, 4 years ago, trickling down from 1,096 potholes repaired down to 372 this year. So that's either we've got good roads or it's we haven't been able to keep up with it. And so, it's things like that this book really gives a little hint to, and I do appreciate that. I'm glad you covered that maybe next year we will qualify for being a low, what do you call it, a low risk. Yes. It never sounds good the way it's put like that. So I know it's a lot of hard work. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to add a follow-up on Councilmember Loretano's comments. We spent about an hour and a half, I guess, my Councilmember Osborne and I going over this report with the auditors, and one of the first questions I asked was the specific one that you asked, and the lead auditor mentioned to me that with their processes, felt very comfortable they would catch anything with that besides the staffing and et cetera. So that was specifically, on the mind there as well. So, yeah, I appreciate the effort, and again, I like the fact that you have council members on a committee that not only are going to give you direction as we move forward, on contracts dealing with the audit, but also going through the process and being able to sit down with the auditors as an interim. So I think that's very valuable. So with that being said, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. 5-0.
Thank you.
Next up is the appointment, Gary Gelser, to fill the vacancy on the City Council. Can I get a motion? Oh, you want to talk about it?
Good for me. If you want.
Well, let me get the motion on the table first, and then you can come up. Can I get a motion first?
So moved.
We got a motion from Councilmember Loretano. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Osborne. With that, is there anything that you want to add?
Mr. Vice Mayor,
Yes.
I just reemphasize, or for the ones who are not familiar with the situation, with Vice Mayor Lord's resignation back in November, that per our city charter setting the wheels in motion on filling that unexpired council seat, and as well aware, a special election's been called for that 2-year seat in March. But our charter does provide that in the intervening time, the council can appoint someone to fill that seat temporarily. Per the council's procedures, a subcommittee was appointed of yourself, Councilmember Cavalier, and Councilmember Osborne to review applications, and unanimously recommended not Councilmember, I'm getting ahead of myself, Gary Gelser for that seat tonight. So if you have any questions, I'm available to answer them.
With that, any questions from the council?
Yes. Which lucky female gets to have him sitting next to him? I'm kidding.
I don't know that there's a procedure, but I'd probably say a coin flip would be in order.
Any other questions? No. The members? Can I get a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Next we have up is information items, comments, report on current events, presentations by mayor, council members, and staff. Do we have any? Okay, go ahead, Councilmember
Point of
Cavalier.
order. Do we don't swear him in tonight? I thought we'd swear him in tonight. No?
No.
Okay.
Questions or updates? We're going to start. Go ahead, Councilmember Cavalier.
I just want to say that we had a CDAC meeting the other night, Community Development Advisory Committee, which I represent Goodyear on, and it's Goodyear was in a little hot water until Katie and I sat down and said we would straighten it out and get it fixed before this Thursday. This coming Thursday is the deadline for us to have completed and submitted our payment in for the last $45,000 that was required to keep us under the gate of being taken off of next year's assignment of any money if we had anything that we wanted to add to the city of Goodyear. And of course we would like to do more on our pipeline for historic Goodyear, and that will be submitted. That has been submitted, and Katie is taking care of that for us. I'm happy to report that the work has been done, check has been submitted, and it will be sent to CDAC before Thursday.
Thank you, Councilmember Cavalier. Councilmember Osborne?
Yes, I would like to, first of all, and this was part of some of CDAC's things, I believe, is that we have like to welcome our first refugee family to Goodyear that was able to take possession of their home, and that was through the NSP program. And I'd also like to let you know that my Teen Action Council, since they're here tonight, this last week we did shoe boxes for the homeless, so thank you guys. And I just wanted to take the time to wish a Merry Christmas to our citizens and to our city staff. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I don't believe we get together rest of the year here. And, you know, we all work hard for each and every one of you, and you're well worth it, and I'm thankful for each one of you. Thank you. That's why you're dressed in black tonight.
Thank you, Councilmember Osborne. Councilmember Sousa.
Again, I'd like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year, and hope that everything works out for everybody in the city of Goodyear and the nation as a whole. Happy New Year, everybody.
Councilmember Loretano.
I'd like to echo that. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I was so impressed with the first half of the meeting that in such difficult times that we've been going through, to see such giving amongst our citizens. And I was just very touched, especially with the homeless children and the teens involved, and just to see such love in this time of year. And we wish you all a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you, and it's hard to echo, but I will everybody's comments on here. I know we don't get together again until January, but wish you all a happy holiday season. And again, I'm so proud of the efforts that the community, and again, I've had the opportunity, especially with Faith Base and a couple of the others, to see how the individuals come together and not just building a collection of neighborhoods, but neighborhoods that are now a sense of community. And I'm really proud of how we've done over the period of time, trying to bring all of us together for the betterment of this community. So with that, I wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas. And next up is any manager summary of current events or reports.
The only, the only item I would mention, Mr. Mayor, is a reminder to the council and the public that the Park and Ride grand opening dedication is this Wednesday, December 15th at 2 p.m., and it's just off of Dysart behind Mimi's.
Yes, and try to get as many out there. I mean, it's been a lot of efforts. I know it's been a passion of Councilmember Cavaliers here. He's put a lot of time and effort in that to get that come through fruition. So we'd like to all see you out there for that dedication. It's a fantastic building out there.
Cut the ribbon.
Yes. Staff summary, follow-up action required.
We will meet with newly appointed Councilmember Gelser to get him up to speed and give him all the information that he wants over the next few weeks. And other than that, I don't really have any follow-up.
Thank you. Council members, any inquiries of staff?
I have a quick one.
Sure, go ahead.
Do we have an update on the two plumes for Goodyear? The one under Pebble Creek and the one under the airport. Have we gotten any updates on Crane?
We understand from contacting EPA last Friday that they are within days of giving an order. The EPA is giving an order to Crane to do the 5 wells as EPA has directed, and that's the current status as far as we know it. We will confirm that and send some information out to the council.
Thank you.
Anything else? Just a follow-up. I've met with the manager dealing with that specifically to address that issue as that's coming up. So we're working on some correspondence to make sure that and try to follow up on what's going on at the federal level. With that, future meetings, January 10th we have a regular meeting, 10th also a special meeting, 24th we have a regular meeting and a special meeting on the 24th. With that, adjourned.